The conversation kicked off in the most casual and chaotic way possible. Robert Pattinson and Zendaya sat down together for a relaxed interview segment called Off the Cuff, where nothing was scripted and every answer somehow became more random than the last. From the very beginning, their energy felt natural, playful, and completely unfiltered. Zendaya introduced herself with a smile while Rob casually greeted the audience, and before anyone could settle into the interview, they jumped straight into an icebreaker question. They were asked about the most interesting thing they had learned recently, but instead of giving a normal answer, Rob instantly joked that all the facts in his head were too controversial to say publicly. Zendaya burst out laughing, already realizing this conversation was about to go off the rails. After joking around for a moment, Rob suddenly brought up Bluetooth headphones and the weird internet rumor that they supposedly damage your brain. He claimed he had recently discovered the opposite was actually true and that Bluetooth headphones somehow improve brain function instead. Zendaya clearly wasn't convinced and laughed while telling him he needed to send her the scientific study because she absolutely was not accepting that explanation without proof. The questions continued getting stranger and funnier. When they were asked about the last concert they attended, Zendaya admitted she had been planning to go to a Cardi B concert, but sadly couldn't make it. She explained how disappointed she was because she had been genuinely excited for it. Rob sympathized with her while Zendaya joked that instead of attending in real life, she simply imagined the entire concert inside her own mind. Rob looked confused and asked if she seriously meant she watched the full concert in her head, and Zendaya confidently replied yes, calling it a mental livestream. Their chemistry became even more entertaining when they talked about useless skills. Rob proudly revealed that he was surprisingly talented at unclogging toilets using random objects he finds in bathrooms during emergencies. Zendaya immediately disagreed with the idea that this skill was useless and insisted it was actually extremely practical. Rob then made the conversation even more chaotic by casually mentioning that sometimes you might even need to use your hand if the situation gets serious enough. Zendaya was horrified and started describing how one of her biggest fears is accidentally clogging the toilet while visiting someone else's house. She called it an absolute nightmare scenario. Instead of comforting her, Rob jokingly explained his own ridiculous strategy for dealing with the problem, making both of them laugh uncontrollably. The entire exchange felt less like an interview and more like two friends completely forgetting cameras were rolling. Eventually, the conversation shifted toward how they first met. Zendaya admitted their meet-cute story wasn't exactly romantic or dramatic. She tried remembering whether the first meeting happened when Rob visited the set of Euphoria, but then realized their actual first interaction was over FaceTime while he was filming The Batman. She explained that during the filming of Euphoria, she briefly appeared on a FaceTime call with a mutual friend while Rob was in full Batman makeup. Zendaya remembered enthusiastically saying hello to him while he barely reacted at all. Rob immediately admitted he had absolutely no memory of this interaction, which only made Zendaya laugh harder. She vividly described him sitting there with dark eye makeup and an intense smoky eye look while giving almost no response whatsoever. The interview then moved into dating questions, which created some surprisingly honest moments. They were asked what people should admit on a first date, but usually avoid mentioning. After struggling to think of an answer, Zendaya jokingly said people should probably mention if they're already married. Rob laughed and agreed that was definitely useful information to know early on. Zendaya then reflected on how she hasn't really experienced traditional dating very much because of her career and public life. She explained that meeting new people romantically can be difficult when you grow up in the entertainment industry. More importantly, she shared that she met the right person while still very young, which changed the way she views relationships entirely. Rob pointed out that couples can still go on dates even if they already know each other, but Zendaya clarified she was talking specifically about first dates between strangers trying to figure each other out. For her, relationships were more about slowly growing alongside someone over many years, instead of meeting someone brand new in adulthood. One of the funniest moments came when they were challenged to hum the theme songs from either Dune or Twilight. Neither of them could successfully do it. Rob somehow ended up humming the Harry Potter theme instead, completely mixing up every franchise imaginable. Zendaya laughed so hard she could barely continue the interview. As the first round ended, it became obvious why viewers enjoyed watching them together. Their conversation wasn't polished or overly rehearsed. It felt awkward in the best possible way, full of interruptions, inside jokes, random tangents, and genuine reactions. Instead of trying to sound perfect, both of them leaned fully into the chaos, which made every moment feel authentic and relatable. Even when they couldn't answer questions properly, that awkwardness became the most entertaining part. Zendaya's sarcastic humor balanced perfectly with Rob's strange and unpredictable answers. Together, they created the kind of interview where the funniest moments happened accidentally. And somehow, by the end of the first section, audiences weren't just watching celebrities answer questions anymore. It felt like they were simply hanging out with two people comfortable enough to be weird around each other, and that's exactly what made the conversation so memorable. As the interview moved into a more personal section, the questions became deeper, but the energy stayed just as chaotic. Instead of suddenly turning serious, Zendaya and Robert Pattinson continued mixing honesty with humor in a way that made every answer feel natural. One of the first questions in this section asked about their current brain rot, the random online content they constantly consume even when they know it's ridiculous. Rob explained that his phone seems to understand exactly what annoys him and continuously feeds him content designed to make him angry. Zendaya laughed while listening to him describe the endless cycle of doom scrolling through bizarre internet posts that somehow keep pulling him back in. The conversation then took another random turn when Rob asked Zendaya if she knew what a floppy disk was. Zendaya looked offended by the implication that she might not know, quickly defending herself and explaining that she wasn't that young. However, while trying to describe what a floppy disk actually looked like, she suddenly became unsure of her own explanation and started second-guessing herself in real time. That awkwardness led perfectly into a discussion about the ick moments where people suddenly cringe at themselves or others. Zendaya admitted she constantly experiences secondhand embarrassment from herself. She explained that even while speaking, part of her brain is internally judging everything she says. Sometimes she'll replay tiny moments in her head and wonder why she phrased something a certain way or why she reacted awkwardly. She even admitted that struggling to explain what a floppy disk was immediately gave her the ick because she suddenly sounded like she didn't understand something she actually knew perfectly well. Rob thought her standards for embarrassment were extremely low and laughed at how quickly she cringed at herself over harmless moments. The interview slowly transitioned into sweeter territory when Rob was asked what his favorite thing about Zendaya was. Instead of making a joke, he gave a surprisingly sincere answer. He described her as incredibly talented, hardworking, and genuinely kind to everyone around her. Zendaya smiled while counting each compliment, joking that she appreciated him giving 3 separate answers instead of just one. Even though the conversation stayed playful, moments like that revealed the genuine respect they had for each other. Their friendship clearly went beyond industry connections. There was a natural comfort between them that made every interaction feel effortless. Soon afterward, they were asked about the worst thing they had ever done. Instead of dramatic confessions, both of them struggled to think of anything truly terrible. Zendaya explained that she carries guilt very heavily and tends to overthink even small mistakes. She admitted that doing something genuinely cruel would probably haunt her forever because she already feels emotionally responsible for things most people would easily move on from. Rob laughed because apparently they had played a similar game before and experienced the same problem. Neither of them could think of shocking stories the way other people could. Zendaya joked that everyone else around them had entertaining confessions while they both sat there acting like innocent children who had never done anything wrong. The discussion then shifted toward acting preparation. Rob talked about preparing for his role as Charlie by speaking to a friend who had attended the same type of college as the character. The friend happened to be British, studied art history, and had experiences very similar to Charlie's background. Rob admitted that after talking to him for a while, he essentially decided to borrow parts of his personality for the performance. Zendaya teased him by accusing him of completely stealing the guy's identity, including his glasses. Rob laughed and confessed that he really did borrow the glasses idea. However, during filming he kept trying to remove them during scenes because he forgot his character was supposed to need them. Zendaya jokingly reminded him that characters don't magically fix their eyesight halfway through movies. Things became even more interesting when they discussed marriage and relationships. They were asked what couples should talk about before getting married, but usually avoid discussing. Zendaya immediately answered that couples should discuss absolutely everything before making that kind of commitment. In her opinion, relationships become stronger when people openly reveal their flaws, fears, habits, and emotional baggage instead of hiding them. Rob completely disagreed. He argued that mystery and unpredictability are what make relationships exciting. According to him, knowing absolutely everything about someone removes some of the thrill. Zendaya laughed because his answer sounded completely opposite to how he actually behaves in real life. She pointed out that his personal relationships seem grounded in deep understanding and trust rather than chaos and mystery. Their debate became one of the most fascinating moments in the interview because it revealed how differently people can approach love. Zendaya seemed to value emotional honesty and communication, while Rob jokingly leaned into the idea of romance being unpredictable and risky. Even though he was clearly exaggerating for humor, their back and forth made the conversation feel authentic instead of carefully media-trained. As the personal questions continued, they started revisiting old red carpet looks and career memories. Rob instantly recognized some of Zendaya's famous outfits, including her appearance in Beyoncé's Lemonade project. Zendaya looked genuinely shocked that he remembered it so quickly. Meanwhile, Rob showed pictures from some of his older projects, including one where he wore an extremely questionable wig during the early stages of his career. Zendaya couldn't stop laughing at the massive amount of volume on top of his head. Rob explained that most of the hairstyle was actually a wig attached over a wig cap that constantly lifted awkwardly during filming. These smaller moments added warmth to the interview because they weren't just promoting projects or giving polished celebrity answers. They were openly laughing at themselves and sharing embarrassing memories without trying to look cool. By the end of this section, viewers had learned something important about both stars. Zendaya tends to overthink, analyze herself constantly, and value emotional openness, while Rob balances sarcasm with genuine sincerity underneath the jokes. Their personalities were completely different, but somehow those differences created a conversation that felt incredibly natural. As the interview entered its final section, the energy became even more relaxed. By this point, Zendaya and Robert Pattinson seemed completely comfortable, answering questions like two friends joking around late at night instead of celebrities participating in a press interview. The lightning round questions started with relationship preferences. They were asked whether they preferred instant electricity or a slow burn connection. Zendaya thoughtfully replied that the best relationships probably include both. She explained that there can be an immediate spark between two people while the deeper emotional connection slowly grows over time. Next, they discussed whether actors enjoy watching their own films. Zendaya admitted she actually likes seeing her movies with audiences during premieres because it helps her experience the emotional reactions in real time. However, she clarified that she definitely does not sit at home forcing friends and family to watch her performances. Rob jokingly challenged her on that statement and reminded her about the time she proudly showed him the special Euphoria episodes released during COVID. Zendaya defended herself by explaining that those episodes were emotionally important to her and represented work she genuinely felt proud of. The conversation then moved toward movie genres. Zendaya immediately chose romance movies because she loves happy endings and emotional warmth. Rob surprised nobody by choosing heartbreak films instead. Zendaya laughed because she already knew that would be his answer. His preference perfectly matched his dramatic, melancholic energy. One of the funniest moments arrived when they were forced to choose between Batman and Spider-Man. Considering both actors are closely connected to those superhero worlds, the question immediately became dangerous territory. Rob confidently chose Batman, calling him much cooler, while Zendaya jokingly reacted with mock disappointment. Afterward, they started discussing internet memes and conspiracy theories. Zendaya explained how strange it feels when completely random photos suddenly become memes online. She mentioned one specific picture of herself standing in a kitchen that somehow spread across the internet for no obvious reason. Things got even stranger when she tried explaining the bizarre Zendaya hat theory circulating online. According to various internet jokes, Zendaya once wore a specific hat that somehow inspired ridiculous conspiracy theories claiming strange supernatural things lived inside it, including alternate versions of herself and even Tom Holland hiding inside the hat. While explaining the theory, Zendaya could barely keep a straight face because she genuinely didn't understand any of it. She admitted that internet culture now moves so fast and becomes so absurd that even she struggles to keep up with the jokes people create about her. Rob seemed equally confused, but entertained by the sheer randomness of online culture. Their reactions perfectly captured how surreal internet fame can become, especially when harmless images suddenly transform into global memes overnight. The conversation shifted back toward acting when they discussed emotionally difficult scenes. Zendaya revealed that crying scenes actually stress her out far more than fight scenes. While action sequences feel exciting and controlled because of choreography and preparation, emotional breakdown scenes are unpredictable. She explained that sometimes the emotions come naturally, while other days it takes music, focus, and emotional buildup to reach the right state of mind. The uncertainty makes those scenes much more intimidating for her. In contrast, fight scenes energize her because she feels physically confident performing them. When asked whether they preferred one perfect take or many messy experimental takes, Zendaya gave a thoughtful answer. She said sometimes a scene works immediately and there's no reason to overcomplicate it. But other times, continuing to experiment can lead to unexpected magic. For her, the best acting moments often happen when actors stop overthinking and simply keep exploring possibilities. Toward the end of the interview, the questions became simpler and more philosophical. They were asked a final yes or no question about life itself. After laughing for a moment, both agreed that their answer to life and to the drama was yes. The interview closed on a surprisingly sweet note. Rob admitted the biggest thing he learned during the conversation was discovering that Zendaya appeared in Beyoncé's Lemonade, something he somehow never realized before. Zendaya couldn't believe he had forgotten such a major moment from her career and proudly called it a pretty cool accomplishment. Then Zendaya reflected on whether she learned anything new about Rob. After thinking for a moment, she smiled and said the interview mostly confirmed everything she already believed about him. She joked that at least now she officially knew he had 3 favorite things about her. The final moments perfectly captured the entire vibe of the interview: funny, awkward, sincere, chaotic, and unexpectedly wholesome all at once. What made this conversation stand out wasn't dramatic revelations or shocking confessions. It was the simple fact that both actors allowed themselves to sound human. They interrupted each other, forgot answers, laughed at awkward moments, told random stories, and occasionally made absolutely no sense, exactly like real conversations between friends. In a world where celebrity interviews often feel overly rehearsed and carefully controlled, this interaction felt refreshingly genuine. Zendaya's self-aware humor balanced perfectly with Rob's unpredictable energy, creating an interview people enjoyed not because of scandal or drama, but because it simply felt real. And by the end, viewers weren't just entertained by their answers. They felt like they had spent time watching 2 genuinely interesting people enjoy each other's company without pretending to be perfect.